Mr. Beats here. Welcome to the first of many videos to come based on the games that I enjoy. Hope that you enjoy the video. If you wouldn't mind, hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you like, what you don't like. I can handle the criticism. In fact, I welcome it. How else am I gonna grow if I don't know where I lack? Anyways, moving on. This first video is 10 things I'd like to see in State of Decay 3. The recent trailer drop, letting us know that they are working on it. It is in development. There's so much excitement going on in the State of Decay community. There's so many things going on in general in the State of Decay community, which we'll touch on for a little bit. But we'll make sure that we cover my top 10 things I'd like to see. This is a compilation of things that I know have been requested on both their Discord and things that I've heard mentioned in the community, plus things that I myself have thought of and have written down and would like to discuss with you. So, in no particular order, we're going to go through them and then we'll deep dive into each one. So at number 1, I have skill trees. Number 2, seasons. Number 3, factions. Number 4, story driven. Number 5, character creator. Number 6, motorcycles and horses. Number 7, dual wielding. Number 8, base building. Number 9 is boss zombies, and number 10 to round it all out is the open world scale. That's what I am looking forward to seeing what they develop on, what they work on, how it comes out. I know they've always wanted to make a AAA zombie game. They stated this in State of Decay 1. State of Decay 2 came out and improved on the graphics and a lot of other things. There's certain things that were missing from State of Decay 1 that I would have liked to have seen in State of Decay 2, which we'll touch on that in a little bit as well. Just to go over the history of State of Decay and why that brings me to the list of things that I'd like to see in the game. And of course, all of that will tie in once we deep dive into these 10 things. Alright, so to start off with number 1, skill trees. I feel like this could be a way to expand upon the game, a way to deeper dive into our immersion into the State of Decay world, and because it's already been put into place from the previous games with the traits that you can acquire, the traits that certain survivors have, the skills that you can learn from reading books, so forth and so on. But my version would be different when it comes to the skill trees. For example, the 4 gun types or weapon types would be set apart in individual skill trees. So you'd have like small arms, automatic weapons, trench operator, and long range. Now each one of these would have a civil side and each one of these would have a professional side. So for example, small arms, the civil side is gun enthusiast, the professional side, police training. Automatic weapons, civil side, gun dealer. Professional side, special forces. Trench operator, civil side, raised in the Midwest. Professional side, SWAT specialist. And for long range, civil side would be lived in the mountains. Professional side, recon sniper. Each one of these would be set up for the different classes and allow you to expand upon that. You can see it on the screen what I mean for the examples, so that way that'll cover all of that. So that's just number 1. So we're deep diving here, so we're going to move on to number 2, seasons. And by that I mean not just weather effects. I want the actual 4 seasons, like even regardless if it's just one map, if there's multiple maps, however they decide to proceed with the map. I'd be happy if it's one map if we just had seasons. They've always said they'd like to incorporate weather effects. It's just something that they couldn't put into the budget. So it's not like it was something they didn't want to do, they just weren't able to do it. So if they're able to do it, I would love for it to be akin to Red Dead Redemption. Like I love their weather system and the seasons, like how they can incorporate that and change it. So I'd love to see that. And then as far as not just having different regions and biomes. So a lot of games will give you the different seasons by giving you different biomes. So depending on where you go on the map will depend on what type of weather you experience, which is cool. I'm not complaining about that, but having the different biomes and still having the different seasons would just be awesome. It'd just be something yet to be seen in a zombie survival game. Like, yes, you've seen weather effects and all that, but I mean the actual changing of the seasons and all that. I know it's a lot to put in to work. I don't know the technical side, I'm not gonna pretend like I do, but it would be something I would love to see in the game. Number 3 is factions. So by factions, I mean not just like the enclaves you run across in State of Decay 1 or State of Decay 2. I'm like factions as far as like maybe a cult that wants to keep the zombies for pets. So in State of Decay 2, you'll run across enclaves where they have a zombie tied to a chain on a pole. Okay, so how about the reasoning behind that is because they feel like that's the evolution of man or something. Just something bizarre, something that can fit into the State of Decay world that would enable them to have a faction for it. They already have the Red Talon and the Network, and I would say those are like factions because they're different groups in the game, but having that expanded upon where you'll run across like a big Red Talon training facility, and like the only way you can work out there is if you decide to adhere to the Red Talon's, you know, like rules. And I'm not saying that you can't change rules or alter them, you know, within the game, but having a clear-cut direction as far as like how to work with the factions would be awesome. Which brings us to number 4, story-driven. I feel like the first State of Decay 1 was a lot more story-driven and had a lot more story arcs in it than State of Decay 2. Don't get me wrong, I love both games, but both games were different in how they approached the story. In State of Decay 1, you could hear gunshots and you would go check it out and you would find a survivor. You could recruit them or leave them, you know, there's different options you have. On State of Decay 2, it was more so done through a radio. Like everyone's calling you, come over here, I need this, come over here, I need that, demanding this, demanding that. So it was cool that they changed things up, but at the same time I miss that aspect of running across people while you're out and about, not just hearing it over the radio. Number 5 would be a character creator. I love the nicknames, I love the variety of characters they have in the game. It's awesome, but I would love to be able to create my own character and put it in there. There are mods available for the PC. I don't have a PC, so I don't know the exact mods, but I have seen them that allow you to change the name and some things like that on your characters. But I would love to see, for State of Decay 3, different body types. Tall people, short people, chubby people, skinny people, built people, fit people. Like, there's different body types in the world. I'd love to see that in more games. I don't know the technical sides again, because I don't do that portion of it. I just enjoy the creation, so these are just my wish lists, so please don't attack me. If you disagree, feel free to tell me you disagree, but I would also like to see facial hair and more ethnic hair. They did a really good job of inclusion with the game, so don't get me wrong, I love that, but I'd love to see more choices. Mohawks, dreads, short hair, long hair, stubble, beards, goatees. I don't even care if you want to make a lady with a beard. It happens in real life. I'm sure it would happen in the apocalypse. Like, I just think it'd be awesome to have those features. There are things that they would like to have had in the game already, and like I said, because of technical restraints and things like that, you pick and you choose what they put in the game. These are things I know because they said it, not things I know because I work there. Moving on, number 6. I see this pop up a lot in their streams. People are always asking for it. Motorcycles or horses. I love the idea, and I love how it can be incorporated in this world into a game mechanic, because you could even use it for different missions. So if you have a stealth mission, you don't want to take a motorcycle because it's going to be loud. You want to take the horse, but then there's going to be drawbacks. There's going to be consequences, cons, and cons. Duh. Bear with me here. And then pros. So the pros, like I said, would be stealth versus noise. If you need to be a distraction, you can use the noise. You need to get there super fast, forget the noise, just drive the motorcycle. If you're trying to use stealth, you use the horse. But then the drawbacks would be the necessity for gas, to scavenge for gas for the motorcycle, or to fight off zombies for the infection. Where are you going to put your horse? How are you going to keep it alive? How are you going to keep it safe? They could even incorporate that into the storyline itself. It's your favorite motorcycle. You grew up with this thing. You helped restore it, and then it gets badly damaged, and you have to scavenge for parts for it. or your horse gets bit and you need to find something to cure its infection. Like, there's just different things they could expand upon on that, and I would love to see that. Moving on, number 7, dual wielding, pistols and melee. And the reason why I added this one is because a lot of games have dual wielding. There are pros and cons, there's drawbacks, there's good things, but I feel like in the zombie apocalypse, that's something I haven't seen a whole lot of, is the ability to dual wield, other than like Call of Duty zombies. But even in that, it was fun because pray and spray. Like, I honestly feel like there would be a lot of people out there not trained in guns. They're not going to be technically inclined when it comes to using firearms. So pray and spray would be, you know, something that they could incorporate there. Where if you use the dual wielding, you can't aim, but you shoot faster, things like that. And as far as melee, I would love to have a dual wielding knives or bats or swords, because I feel like in the zombie apocalypse, if I'm trying to not make a lot of noise, I'm not going to carry around this big old axe. Don't get me wrong, I love my heavy weapons, but I feel like a lot of people, the smaller characters for sure, would not want to be running around lugging that huge old thing, because even in the game, depending on your character, there's drawbacks on the weight and everything, so they can still incorporate that and let it be within the realm of the game. In my opinion, like I said, don't know the technical side. Just gonna touch on that one more time because I know I'll get lambasted for that. But moving on to number 8 would be base building. And I like the base system and how you have to have influence and things in the second game, but I miss the building of the barriers on the walls and the doors from the first game, like how you can reinforce things. So to expand upon that, if they're making a AAA game and it's open world, hopefully they'd be able to incorporate base building, similar to Fallout, where you can maybe not necessarily pick and choose every tile that you lay in every frame, as far as like the walls, the roofs, the stairs, but like maybe having pre-built confabs where you can put those down and expand upon those by adding them together. They kind of have that with the base building in 2, but when you build those different ones, it changes your base, it changes how it looks. So there is that base building, but I'd like to be able to like find either an open area where you can build a base or a pre-existing building where you can build a base and have it being like completely free of choice. Like there's be pros and cons to where you move into. Say you move into a house, but you didn't realize there's a zombie infestation nearby. So you won't find out until you've moved in, and then that affects even like your base building and your options where you choose to build them, and then having like scavenged resources where you have to find the materials to build said things. It's done in a lot of games. I feel like it's done well in a lot of games, but I feel like, again, it's something that I feel has not yet been completely incorporated into an open world zombie apocalypse game. You don't have too many of them. There are examples out there that you can look to. Last of Us, oh my gosh, Rage 2. I feel like you could, some of those characters you could see as being like zombie-esque, how you deal with them. What else? And, Days Gone. I haven't played that one yet, and it's fun. So, moving on, I'll just give you examples of other games that are open world, but still haven't completely like enveloped the whole base building and so forth. Moving on, number 9, boss zombies. So they already have freaks in the game, like with the juggernauts, the screamers, the bloaters, the ferals. Those are already all in game. Those are freakish. They're hard to deal with, and yeah, they scale difficulty based on which ones you're facing. But what I want to see is like, you see this sweet spot and you want it, and you want to move in there, but it's being guarded by, let's say, a mutated grizzly bear. So it's like a 9-foot tall bear that's zombified that has minion bears, and you have to fight them off and destroy them in order to move in. Or like a juggernaut that ate other juggernauts, and there's an alpha juggernaut. He's bigger in scale, harder. Say he wears armor, like something to make it to where like you have to break down the armor and then attack the zombie. So I would love for them to scale in size and difficulty. I feel like that would be beneficial to the player and to the experience of when you're roaming around. Alright, and last but not least, I touched on it. I said it, I want it to be open world, but I want to expand upon it. I said it before, I don't want just zones. I want like the option to have it be more free roamish. So even if you have to lock off certain sections, they can be blocked off by the story or by like roadblocks, walls, obstacles, however you want to do it. Like if you want to set it up to where they just can't run all around, that's fine, but I would love for it to be eventually, like regardless of your level, you can go from one side of the map to the other and things have changed, they've grown, or depending on your actions, depends on like the zombies that are there versus the humans that are there, and if there's settlements that have built up. Like I feel like there's so much that they've touched on that would be awesome to see expand. You see enclaves move into your areas on the maps in State of Decay 2, they're normally 3. I would like to see that expanded upon. Like yeah, there's a group of 3 over here, they're scavengers, but there's a group of 15 over here and they're marauders. So you have to watch how you act with them, how you interact with them, that type of open worldness. Well guys, that's as much as I'm going to expand upon it. This is what I would love to see. This is my wish list for State of Decay 3. Again, feel free to comment down below, leave a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you get new content. Like I said, every Monday going forward, there will be new content. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments below, let me know what you think. And until next week, peace. Have a good one. Mr. Beats in the hood, and I'm out.